Alright, g'day again everybody. So since it's St. Patrick's Day and everybody's doing their favourite Irish recipes, I figured I'd show you one of mine that my Irish mum taught me how to make. But first I have to peel a few of these. Alright, so I've got my potatoes peeled and I've weighed them because I need to know how much flour to use later. So I'm going to cut those up and boil them and mash them, and I'll come back and I'll explain that a bit more. And put those into a pot of cold water, cover it up, turn the heat on and boil them until they're soft, not to be mashed. Okay, so once our potatoes are soft enough to mash with a fork, they're pretty much good to go. We're going to drain the water and then I'm going to turn them back here, and we have to make sure that we get rid of as much of that moisture as possible, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Alright, I've just put them back in the pot now to get rid of as much of this moisture as possible. I'm just going to put it back on the warm hot plate and just give it a few seconds and most of that moisture will steam away. So you might have to give it a little shake every now and then. There it goes. You don't want it to burn, you don't want it to cook, you just want to dry it out as much as possible. And then we can start mashing it. Now, if you have a potato ricer or if you want to put it through a sieve, you can do that. That's pretty good. But I'm just going to mash the bejesus out of it with my potato masher. Oops. And hope for the best. So I'm not going to be adding anything, butter or milk or anything. Shouldn't be necessary, but it will take two hands, so I'll come back once I'm finished that. Okay, so as far as the measurements go, depending on the recipe you use, they'll use a sixth to a quarter of the amount of flour to potatoes. So if you're going to do 300 grams of potatoes, you do about 75 grams of flour. So I ended up with 259 grams. So I've got a third of the amount of flour here, but I'm not planning on using it because you don't want to use too much. And I would say a third is about the highest you would want to go. So I'm just going to dump that out. Or I'll start with about 2/3 of that. And then to that, I'm going to add the potato, but I'll just put the camera in a better spot. So just spread that out a little bit, and we're just going to knead the potatoes into that. Make sure you get it all in there. Alright, and just start kneading it together. And you just want to sort of incorporate it until it comes together. And then we're just going to make a disc out of it, pretty much. You don't want to knead it too much, you just want it to hold its shape, pretty much. You don't need a rolling pin or anything. So you can see, yeah, I only ended up needing about half that amount of flour, so I'd say a sixth is probably good. So you just want to press it down to about a half an inch thick, or about 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeters should be fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, now be careful when you handle it because it will probably fall apart. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces now. And then I'm just going to grab this egg flipper to make sure it didn't stick. Alright, there you go. Alright, so just heated up a fry pan to medium low heat. I'll probably turn it down one in a minute. And I'm just going to add some butter and let that melt. And once it starts sizzling, we'll put our potato bread in there. Alright, so now that that butter is starting to bubble, we can put our pieces of bread in there and then try not to move them. So we're going to give these about 3 or 4 minutes on either side, but when I come back to flip them, I'll give you a look at what they should look like. Okay, so it's probably been more like 5 or 6 minutes, but if you shake it, you can sort of hear that it's getting crispy on the bottom, so we'll go ahead and turn it over and see how we go. Yeah, I could probably use another minute, probably, but it's getting there. So that looks a bit better. You can see it's going all golden brown, so let's go ahead and flip the rest of these over and repeat. See, that one looks really good. Alright, so another 5 minutes on that side and you're ready to eat. Alright, so these are now done. I've just flipped them over to show you what that other side looks like. So we'll take that off the heat and serve them up. Alright, so we'll start with that one and we'll give it a taste. I'm not going to add anything just yet. Ooh, what? Really good, really chewy and crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. Alright, so you could probably eat those as is. I like mine with a bit of salt and pepper. And then I like to garnish it with some fried eggs, some fried tomato, and some bacon. And you got yourself an Irish breakfast. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.